Appreciate you being here. First of all, I want to thank the fans that weathered some of the bad weather to start the game and surely made their presence felt. We're looking forward to seeing them pack the house this weekend coming up. And then again, got a chance to review the film and get right back to practice, back to work with our guys today, quickly turn our focus to Texas A&M. Obviously a really impressive team, lots of good players coming off a really big performance on Saturday and whatnot, so certainly looking forward to the opportunity. Again, good start today, and questions please.
Yeah, Texas A&M had a lot of success through the air, so what are going to be the big challenges for Miami's DBs and pass rush?
Well, they bring a lot of challenges, not only through the air, but they're big up front. They're big, they're physical, they're talented. Those are athletic guys. They move their feet well, they're heavy-handed. They've got a really good run game. They took their shots, so I think that might be a little bit skewed as to their capabilities because they have a very strong run game, and you watch the way that they're, not only their alignment, but their tight ends, the way they involve them in the running game, and the way their receivers block in the run game as well. They're a very potent offense, so they're a challenging bunch, and we're looking forward to it.
What challenges does a Bobby Petrino offense pose?
Well, it's a lot of years of great offenses, right? He's done it every way imaginable, right? He knows how to use his pieces. He's got some really good pieces over there. They got off to a great start. They've got a great quarterback, and he's got some great supporting cast members, I should say. So, the most important thing is making sure that we study film really, really well, that our plan is as airtight as it could be to give our players the best chance to play fast and free.
Mario, it's kind of like a two-part question. I'm Colby on the first, and we came off the field for a bit. I wanted to check and make sure he's good to go. And the second thing is that, on that screenplay to start off the game, obviously he's defining aspects, kind of his height. So what can he do with his speed and agility?
Well, he's a fast guy. He's okay, first of all. He took a shot to the leg, but he was full go when he finished the game. Just a little bit banged up, but he worked on his speed. He worked on his initial quickness more than anything this offseason, and his ability to accelerate and decelerate, so he could become a complete route runner, which is really important to him. Coming out of the junior college, a lot of people thought, well, is he a wide receiver? Is he a tight end? I mean, he's a really good wide receiver. And I think his hard work in the offseason has paid off. It shows, and it showed in this past game. So showed a nice burst there, did a great job securing the football, but even more so did a nice job setting up his blocks down the field. So he wants to get better. He knows there's a lot of areas he wants to attack, and he's relentless about his approach to the game. So a great guy to have on our team.
Mario, Connor Wegman, to Evans, I want to know about him, had a good game, and Evan Stewart and Noah Thomas had great games. How tough will they be to defend? I know you touched on that, but in that vein, kind of your thoughts on your cornerbacks, how they did.
Well, they're really good. I mean, they've not only in this past game that they've played, but they've shown even last year how good they can be. And they score a lot of points and make a lot of explosive plays. That really was probably what stuck out most of their game on Saturday, that the score kept changing in a hurry because of the explosive plays that they made. But again, they're not a one-dimensional team. I mean, they can run the ball really, really well. They protect the quarterback really well. So again, looking forward to the challenge.
Game ones can be hit or miss sometimes with blocking and tackling. How do you, after assessing the film for you guys on game one, how do you feel like you guys did in those phases?
Progress, solid performance in a lot of different areas, especially as it relates to tackling, as it relates to blocking. We had I think it was one negative play, and it was because Emory scrambled late, a little bit of a coverage sack. That was a one negative play. So up front, there's improvement and lots of improvement to be made, right? Half position, hand placement, movement, identifications, leverage angles, all that stuff. But there certainly is progress, which we're excited about. And I think our players watched the film, and they left there with, I would say, just an appetite to get better. They brought upon themselves to continue working hard, practice harder, getting better game shape, right? We didn't have a ton of plays this past game. It was a night game. So now the challenges during the day become greater, right? We're playing in some of the climates that we're going to be playing, particularly at home. So, and it needs to be an advantage for us. So, but overall, just being around our team now for the past several months, it wasn't a shock that the conversations were centered around improvement. as opposed to, hey, we did this really well, so it's a good place to be.
Coach, you had two new running backs making their debuts at Hard Rock Stadium Saturday night, KJ Allen and Mark Fletcher. I mean, with the progress I'm sure you saw through fall camp up into the big stage there as a season opener, how do you think that really followed through from fall camp and this?
Yeah, they performed well. I thought all backs did, especially considering the fact that, Miami of Ohio does play that extra defender in the box. They create tough angles. You saw the edges, how tight they were, so it's tough to get yards inside. And sometimes they made them inside, sometimes they bounced them outside, but they played with really good discipline and really good ball security, which was really important, right? They were on point with their assignments, with their reads for the most part, and they ran hard. So for a guy that just got here, transferred in, that just jumped in a fall camp, another guy that's a high schooler that also didn't start up until June, those guys, they did a really good job. They really did.
I know each year it's a different team for both sides, but last year, kind of the story of the game was red zone for both teams. Is that a point of emphasis you're making this week to the team?
I think I think every team in the country will always make that point when you work it. It's such a big part of fall camp, right? It's such a big part of your game plan. And last year, we really struggled in the red zone, and they were, I believe, a top 10, top 7 to be exact red zone defense in the country. They just do a really good job of forcing you to just earn every inch down there. Just a very well coached team. There's a lot of experience on that staff and a lot of really good football players, and they put it all together really well.
Coach Xavier Restrepo was manning the kick return duties, punt and kick return. Can you go into why you went with him for those duties?
He earned it. He won it flat out.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about, you've not only coached but played in a lot of big games with the bright lights of this being a nationally televised event. Is the message any different to the players this week going into this matchup?
The message in terms of?
Just with the brighter lights and, more attention being on this game, is it any different than any other game, or?
Well, I think, the juice takes care of itself, right? I don't think I can do anything at a practice or meeting to increase that. They're very well aware of the opportunity that we have in front of us. I think we're fortunate to have a bunch of guys that they like to work, and they're really taking these processes and they're elevating standards, on a daily basis. And so far, they've allowed us to push ourselves, which is really, really important. So, in terms of that stuff, I think when you reach that level of being a competitor at a high level, that it doesn't matter what lines up in front of you, you want to get after it. Do we all know the lights get brighter, the national TV, right? They used to call them the 3 blimp games, right? I don't know if they fly blimps anymore overhead, but those were the big ones. I think we all know. We all know the opportunity that, again, is in front of us, and our guys they're really excited to play, and they showed up in practice today.
Mario, they're honoring the 1983 Hurricanes at halftime on Saturday. I guess you did probably, 12 or 13 during that year. So do you have any memories of that team and what they were like?
I remember a black and white TV in my grandfather's house. I remember that. It's iconic, historic. I mean, name it anything super and positive that you can, because it changed. I think it changed the community down here, right? It changed what the Miami Hurricanes were to be and the future and the brand, the label. I think it made Hurricane fans out of all of us, because of the way they played the game. Then on top, of course, they won the game, but the way they played the game, it just inspired so many after that to come and become Miami Hurricanes as well. And then it inspired fans across not only the community, but across the entire country. So obviously a tremendous honor to have those guys in-house. We have at least one on staff, a couple on staff. So,
what stands out about Texas A&M's D-line?
What stands out? A lot. Besides being disruptive, they're disruptive because they're explosive players that are really thick and powerful, but they're also athletic where they can counter, they can get themselves out of tough positions. They split double teams. Even when your double teams are really, from a technique and fundamental standpoint, they're done really well. They create edges in the passing game. They find ways to, just use their hands really well and pin an elbow or get a hold of a wrist, dip, rip, get underneath, flip the offensive lineman's hips and create, some really just condensed pockets. They push the pocket in the middle, but it's not just from a bull rush standpoint. They truly, they're coached really well, and they're really talented, and they play hard. They're an excellent D-line.
Remember in the ACC, you know, adding Cal, Stanford, and SMU, and I know you know Cal and Stanford really well. Just your thoughts on the addition of those teams and also how it helps you recruiting wise, because you know that area.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time out there playing against those teams. Really good teams, really good schools, great fan bases, great places to play. And I trust the leadership of not only our university, but our conference, and certainly excited to have those teams as part of it as well.
What did you like about Francisco's performance after watching the film?
Oh, he's relentless. You know, he plays fearless, throws his body around. He's reckless with his body, but he's pinpoint, just accurate and detailed in his assignments, alignments, and all that kind of stuff. Tremendous nose for the ball. Like he gets it, and he's a great leader. I mean, he's unfazed. All right, good play, bad play. He's on to the next one. I think guys feed off of that, and they know that he's as good of a person as he is a football player. So it resonates strongly when he has success.
Do you expect Elijah Arroyo to be possibly available for this game?
We expect he has a good chance to be available. You know, he makes a lot of progress. It's tough on them, you know. I'd love to come in here and say ready to roll, or just be able to rule it out to make it clear for all of us. But it's progressing. It's just hard to say. We're very hopeful, and from what we saw today, we're very encouraged. Feel good night.
And Jaleel Skinner, I don't believe he played a snap in the last game. Is he okay?
He's okay. He's okay. He's working his way into the lineup. He's a good football player, and he's working to get more reps.
Mario, a lot of rotation at linebacker. Francisco, KJ Floyd, the same. Court Flag, Keandre, a lot of guys obviously getting in. That's when you start to kind of continue going forward, or have they kind of solidified in ones and twos?
Well, if guys earn playing time, they're going to play. I think you see it by position. Certain positions had a lot of rotations and others didn't. And it's strictly on who earns playing time. It's not going to be just gifted. It's not going to be inherited. That position is one in particular that has a lot of competition, and those guys have demonstrated the ability to run our systems at a higher level and play. And for the most part, they played really well, and they played hard, which is really important. They got us lined up the right way. It's good to have those guys playing different combinations with each other. God forbid any injuries occur, we can mix and match a little bit better. So looking forward to not only that position, but the running back is another position. The running back position is one that there is competition, and we let it play itself out throughout the course of the week. It keeps those guys on edge, and it keeps them playing at a higher level.
Mario, the freshmen, a lot of freshmen played, you talked a little bit about that after the game. They're especially the true freshmen, their attitudes now, and I know like Francisco is a veteran, so he's unfazed going forward. What did this game do for them, do you think? Confidence and just their attitude now?
Their attitude, I don't think their attitude's ever been different. 15 of them played, 15 high school, that were in high school last year played, not counting redshirt freshmen and whatnot. So that's a lot. They were excited. We expected that amount to play. We did in recruiting. Just felt that they were high-level guys that come from really good programs, and they trained. They earned it. We're not going to throw a guy out there just because he was a highly recruited guy, and we don't want to ruffle any feathers. That just doesn't work. If you don't earn it, you're just not going to play. And we're going to help you find a path to get better and play. And all these guys did. So I think that being out there, they realize how different it is, and being having a coach nearby where he could give you a tip or a reminder at the last second in practice, which we try to stay away from. But I think they all did really well. I don't think any of them. I don't think the moment was too big for any of them. Regardless of sometimes in this game there were some guys that played when the game was in hand. We had control of it. But even so, I don't think any of them were fazed by it, and we look forward to playing more of them and having them get more playing time as well.
With Tyler's tape thing, is that something he's going to have to play through or play with the whole year, do you think? Or is it something that could alleviate as the season progresses?
He's fine. I mean, he liked it when they tried it. I think, so much was made of it in the media when they saw him with that. Some people thought it was like a prosthetic finger or something, but whatever makes him feel comfortable. I mean, you saw him throw the ball. He's There's no limits on what he can do. I think that our training staff is very high-tech, very cutting edge, where they just, you know, they create some really neat ways to enhance the efficiency, alleviate any issues that our guys may have. In Tyler's case, it's more of efficiency and just operational. He has no limits really.
Coach, to bring in Francis, Matt, and then JD on to this program this season, seems like it's gone really quickly. You got to see what they're capable of. Run blocking, you mentioned earlier, was really strong on Friday night. What has that relationship done for you to be able to have them as a former offensive lineman here at Miami?
Yeah, it's something that we need to do every single year. I think it's a great billboard. It's a great commercial for other guys that are seeking opportunities to grow at that position. We're such a trench-driven organization, and we need more, and certainly we need some playmakers outside. And I think that it's only been one game, but I think if you sat them down and you asked them their experience, how they're developing, how they're treated, how they're growing and maturing, I think you'll be very happy with their responses. And to see them come out and perform as if they've been playing together for a long time, that was neat to see. It was better to see them today talking about how to get better. It really was. Those guys have a lot of pride. They are not in any way, shape, or form looking for pats on the back or any kind of satisfaction. They just want to improve. They want to get better, and they want to win.
What do you like most about Matt Lee's performance?
Matt Lee played well. That was the expectation. Watching him on film. While he was at UCF, you could tell he was a high-level player. He's gained about 20 pounds since he's been here, 20 pounds of good weight. He's practiced extremely hard. He was a representative for us at media days. He was selected as a captain for this past week's game, so the fact that he played well was no surprise. And he likes to be pushed, so we're going to push him. Matt Lee's got a lot more in the tank to give his teammates at the University of Miami, so we're going to make sure that we're going to get it.
His athleticism, is it different? Because he was out there pulling and leading the way as a center. Haven't really seen that much around here, but...
Yeah, it's probably not since the days of Don Bailey. Have you seen that kind of stuff around here, It's a tremendous advantage. We like to think of offensive linemen as being as big a playmakers as some of the guys out in the perimeter, because when they can do certain things, well, then you can expand the offense and some of the things you do as well. So proud of his effort and performance and looking forward to getting after his butt all week long.
Anything else, Coach?
Good. Guys, thank you for being here. Okay, I'll see you later in the week.
Thank you.